Delaware's connection to the tragedy in Nepal. We'll talk to people who just got back from there, and free medical rides for those who need it most. This is the Delaware Way. I'm Larry Menti. Welcome to the Delaware Way. Recently, the country of Nepal, which is right between China and India, suffered two massive earthquakes that devastated the country. And there was a call around the world for physicians to show up. And two people from Delaware who went over to Nepal are with us now. This is Dr. Geffe. Thank you for joining us. And also physician's assistant Colleen Davis, part of the Delaware medical team that went over to help out. When you got the call, what did they say?
I got the call from the executive board from the Delaware medical relief team, and they asked me if I'd be willing to go. They had not sent a surgeon over there. I'm a surgeon by training, and they felt that there was a need and a time for someone like myself with the skill set that I have, and I said yes. Similar story?
Yes, I actually got a text message from Vinnie Crapola, who's one of the internal medicine docs in the area, and just said, hey, are you interested in coming to a meeting tonight? We're trying to throw together some people. And said, come on over to my house. I got there were about 30 people in his basement just willing to come.
I know that you can visualize somewhat or understand what the situation might be and what you're going to be running into, but did you understand the danger?
No, certainly not. I mean, you try to get a vision, and if you've been doing some of this stuff before, you do have a sense, but I don't think anyone can really. Yeah.
And when I talk about the danger, I mean that there was still, when you were there were still aftershocks and earthquakes.
Often. In fact, we'd be in little clinics that we have set up in villages or in little tent cities, and one of the first signs you'd see is the birds would start to fly and the dogs would start to bark, and oftentimes you would see the Nepalian people run out of any building that was around you because they were so scared, because they knew what the birds flying away and the dogs barking meant, that there was an aftershock coming, and somewhere as high as 6 on the Richter scale.
Mm-hmm. And I want to get to the injuries in a second, but at any one of these times when you were going through these earthquakes, did you feel like you were in danger, or did you see? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one example, we were near the Himalayas. We were in a terrace farm community, and laying at night, we'd had an aftershock, and then all of a sudden, because we're approaching monsoon season at this point, all of a sudden the rain starts coming down, the wind starts whipping, and there are two of us in this tent sort of with our arms stretched and our legs stretched, just trying to keep our tent from leaning as it's blowing, the wind is blowing and things like that. And just above us, in the peak just above us, just a few feet away, there was a house that was being torn down by the military the day before. And so there's a ton of rubble there, and you sort of are laying in your tent going, oh, please don't let any of that rubble fall on me as I'm resting, through the night. So, yeah.
I made a huge assumption in asking a question a second ago, and that is that you can visualize, you can kind of get an idea of what you're going to see. Is that true?
I think for me personally, no. I mean, you can, just like anything, get a guess at what you think you might see. We were based mainly in Kathmandu, the major city in Nepal, and went out to different villages. And just even in the surrounding areas of Kathmandu, to walk into what we would view as a park that we might see, just covered with people and living in tents made of tarps and bamboo sticks. Or part of our team went into the Himalayas via helicopter, and we found a village of 600 to 700 people that it was much like a scene from MASH. They were waving us in from the helicopter. I spent 3 hours when we first landed with one gentleman just digging rubble out to find clothes and belongings for his children that he asked me to help with. Had nothing to do with the fact that I was a physician, just a guy who would be able to have the strength to help move rocks with him.
Would you go back? Would you do this again? Not necessarily in Nepal, but would you go on another mission like this?
Absolutely. This is not the first time that I've taken one of these missions, and it's, 8 months ago was my last one. So it's something that myself and my family and my husband have committed to doing. Yeah.
And that's the reason I asked, because I thought it was such a personal thing for you to say that I promised my family I'd come back okay. Mm-hmm. And you are taking a chance when you have a family. So Absolutely. You would go back though?
Absolutely, and I hope to someday be able to go back and take my children with me so they can not only know of the things and the blessings that they have here, living in the United States, living with their father as a physician, but they can too learn that act of selflessness, that act where we very much believe in our family, as I know Colleen's family, where much is given, much is expected. And when things like this happen, we need to go out and help those people.
Thank you. That's a great way to end it. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
And it was a wonderful thing you did. We need people like you. You're like the angels that fly into these situations and do, well, I was going to say God's work, but you're doing medical work as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dr. Kevin Geffe and physician's assistant Colleen Davis with the Delaware Medical Relief Team. And when we come back, we're going to continue to talk about Nepal because we have a reporter who went over there. So we'll take a look at Nepal from a journalist's perspective when A Delaware Way continues.